Welcome back to the 7-part video series where I walk you through the blueprint you can use to achieve fast success with easy to implement steps. I'm Lenny Richardson, founder of Productivity Accelerator, and today we're going to explore how to create habits that compound over time. By the way, if you haven't watched the other 5 videos in the series, I highly recommend stopping this video and watching those first, as each video builds upon the previous one. Now, if you have seen the previous videos, welcome back. In the previous video, I sort of touched on just how impactful habits can be, and I shared some strategies you can use to minimize distractions. In this video, I want to discuss what a habit is, how it's developed, and how you can manipulate your habits to effectively achieve direct success. So why are habits so powerful? Habits, when implemented correctly, can literally allow you to achieve success on autopilot. Habits are the small decisions you make and actions you perform every day. According to a Duke University study, habits account for about 40% of our behaviors on any given day. In some studies and references I've personally read, that number can be as high as 65%. Regardless, your habits account for a lot of your daily actions and behaviors. Charles Duhigg, in his book The Power of Habit, explains the habit loop, which is cue, routine, and reward. All habits fundamentally follow this pattern. First, you're introduced to a cue that triggers a process. Then you engage in your habitual action or routine. Finally, you get your reward, which conditions you to repeat the habit. Understanding this loop is the first step in creating habits that stick. Let me give you a quick example to illustrate this better. Imagine you have a habit of eating chocolate. First, you'd have a cue. In this case, let's say the cue is hunger and craving for something sweet. Next is the routine. The routine is reaching for some nearby chocolate to satisfy that urge. Finally, the reward is the satisfaction you feel from eating that chocolate. Now, since you understand how a habit is formed, you also understand how you can alter your habits. Now, let's go back for a moment. Imagine you want to switch your chocolate eating habit into a fruit eating one. First, you have the hunger and the craving cue. But instead of reaching for a chocolate bar nearby, you reach for some grapes or strawberries instead. Finally, assuming you get a positive reward from eating the fruit, you've begun the process of reconditioning yourself. This is how new habits are formed. Now, in reality, changing your habits aren't an instant process. It requires a bit of mindfulness and patience. The research on exactly how long it takes to create a new habit is a bit iffy in my opinion. Some studies I've read suggest about 60 days, some suggest around 30, and some say it's about a week. From my personal experience, the time it takes depends on the complexity of the activity. So for example, creating a habit of going to the gym may take months if you're not used to exercising consistently. But making a habit to do a low resistance activity like reading may only take a few weeks or maybe a month. Basically, the more steps and the harder the activity, the longer it'll take to recondition yourself and the harder it'll be for the habit to ingrain itself into your brain. Now, I want to share with you a few quick hacks to make your habits stick a little bit faster. Remember, any habit you attempt to create will take a little bit of discipline and time. However, these hacks will make it easier and faster to build the desired habits. First, arrange your surroundings to support your habits. For example, if you want to eat healthier, keep fresh fruits and vegetables within easy reach. Years ago, I had a podcast. I struggled with wanting to set it up and get more guests because it took so much time and effort to set up the equipment. Eventually, I came up with a solution to keep all of my equipment at the office where I held the podcast, rather than try to transport it from the apartment I was living in at the time all the way to the office I held the podcast and back. This dramatically cut down the steps required to interview a guest, which made it way more appealing and easier for me to shoot episodes. Naturally, the easier it was to shoot episodes, the more I was willing to actually do the episodes. Second, use your social circle to your advantage with a concept called behavioral contagion. Behavioral contagion is the tendency for certain behaviors exhibited by one person to be adopted by others in their social group. When you observe and interact with people who have the habits you want to adopt, you are more likely to mimic those behaviors. For example, if your friends regularly exercise and prioritize their health, you are more likely to feel motivated to adopt similar habits. The social norm within your group encourages healthy behavior. Of course, this is also true in reverse, and this is where you have peer pressure that influences people to do negative activities or negative behaviors. But the key is to find people who create positive influences in your life. Find more people who have the qualities or habits you wish to adopt, and it'll make it easier for you to ingrain those habits into your own life. Third, use peer pressure advantageously. Peer pressure is usually used to get us to engage in harmful behaviors, but it can also be used beneficially. This is where an accountability partner comes in. An accountability partner is someone who supports you in achieving your goals by providing encouragement, feedback, and motivation. This person can help you stay on track and committed to your habits. Suppose you want to develop a habit of reading daily. Having a friend who shares this goal can create mutual accountability. You can check in with each other, discuss what you're reading, and celebrate milestones together. Years ago, I went to a business seminar. One of the guys in the crowd wanted to start a business, but never had the motivation to work on it. The speaker gave him an easy solution. He told him to find an accountability coach or a close friend he could trust, pay one of them, and get them to do a check-in every single week. Basically, he told the guy to put his money where his mouth was and pay for someone to hold him accountable. The idea was that the loss of potential money would be the direct motivation required to take action. It's almost like paying for an expensive gym membership. You'll either cancel your membership or force yourself to lose your gut or to gain muscle in order to justify the cost. Fun fact, this is one of the main strategies I use to make going to the gym more consistent. I paid for an expensive gym membership, rationalized the cost per day, and from that, it motivated me to go to the gym more frequently. I calculated the cost of not going to the gym every single day, and from that, it gave me the motivation required to go to the gym more frequently. Now, to wrap things up, we've discussed how to create habits that compound over time by focusing on morning routines, healthy habits, and productive rituals. Remember, the key is to start small and build up gradually over time. I hope you got a lot out of this video. I guarantee if you take these steps seriously, you'll find yourself knocking out goals effortlessly. You'll be creating success on autopilot. Now, in the next video, I want to go over a key tactic that few people use, but is essential to creating success. That is reviewing, reflecting, and adapting. With that being said, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.